Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Teacher Ryan and today we're going to talk about uses of nouns. Before anything else, if you're new here in my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. And of course, click the notification down below for more updates about my videos. So let's talk about uses of nouns. So why is there a need for us to study uses of nouns? So that when we look at a particular sentence, they have their own functions. They have their own individual connotation of a meaning that will allow us to understand effectively in the communication. Either they will serve as the doer of the action or the receiver of the action, or they are just describing back to what we mean by the kind of idea. So to concretize the kind of examples, I will show you 9 examples of uses of nouns here, right? So let's have subject, direct object, indirect object, subjective complement, objective complement, nominative of address, positive, noun clause. We have also object of the preposition. So let's begin with the subject. So we learn best through example. I here, Blessy is doing her homework. So the underlying word is the noun, is that functions as a subject. So who is doing her homework? Blessy. So the Blessy as a subject is found before the verb is. Next, direct object. Robert Massey wrote Teacher the Great. So the direct object here is found after the verb. So Peter the Great is the direct object. Okay, written by Robert Massey. Okay, indirect object. In the indirect object, it requires 2 objects in the transitive verb. So the sorcerer gave Merlin a magic word. There are 2 objects found after the verb, Merlin and a magic word. So by looking at the verb gave or the base form give requires a object and the recipient of the object. So here, who do you think is the recipient of the giving? It's Merlin. And what is that object that is given to Merlin? A magic word. So you may ask the question, what or to whom did the sorcerer give a magic word? So Merlin. So Merlin was given a magic word by the sorcerer. So the first one, the recipient, is the indirect object, and it goes first before the direct object, a magic word. It could also be the sorcerer gave a magic word to Merlin. So to economize, so you would just say the sorcerer gave Merlin a magic word. So the first one is the indirect object, the second one is the direct object. Next, subjective complement. So how do you know that the sentence is in the form of subjective complement once there is a linking verb? So life is God's gift to humanity. So here, the God's gift is a subjective complement from the word life. So life is what to humanity? God's gift. That is a subjective complement because God's gift is actually life. Next, number 5, we have objective complement. It is actually used in the verb, transitive verb consider. So there are we have direct object complements such as consider, appoint, name, and some other verbs that will refer back to the direct object. For example, Russians consider Yuri Gagarin a national hero. So what do the Russians consider to Yuri Gagarin? A national hero. So here, the last phrase here will serve as a objective complement, complementing to the Yuri Gagarin. Another example is, for example, we have Ryan. The people consider Ryan a hero, or they name him Ryan. So they name him him is the direct object, and we have the objective complement. The hero refers back to the word Ryan. So we have nominative of address. So basically when you call someone by his or her name, so that will serve as nominative of address. For example, gentleman, we have good news for you. So the word gentleman here will serve as nominative of address, and that is a noun. Hand me that wrench, George. So George there is our nominative of address. Next, number 7, we have appositive. So one of the things that we will look at appositive is the usage of two commas. Okay, so like this one. So when it is between commas, that will serve as appositive, referring back or renaming back the Sir Arthur Conan. Like Sir Arthur Conan, a British novelist, created the Sherlock Holmes. A British novelist is a noun functioning as a appositive. So a British novelist is Sir Arthur Conan, who created Sherlock Holmes. Okay, we have also noun clause. How do you know that a noun clause is a clause? It has a subject and a verb introduced by a subordinating marker such as that, which, who, what else? We have whoever, whatever is a decision is what I will accept. Okay, so making sure that there is a subordinating marker, that's the subject and the verb. So the entire phrase that she is happy is quite obvious. The clause that she is happy is a noun clause functioning as the subject here. Okay. Next, we have the question is where the money came from. So where the money came from is a noun clause functioning as a predicate nominative. Okay. Next, we have Gary asked what happened to his bid. So Gary asked what. So the entire clause, what happened to his bid, functions as a object. His wish that he becomes an actor, is a positive, referring back to his wish. And lastly, we have object of the preposition. So one of the books is missing. So take note when you use one of the, make sure the object of the preposition is always plural. Okay? So the underlined word, the books, is actually object of the preposition. So it is introduced by preposition together with the objects or object. Alright, so that's it. If you have any questions regarding this video, and if you like this, share this to your friends so that they will be educated, especially for learner in English. Alright, see you in my next video, and God bless.